and welcome to the first video in a series of 7 I like to call Sherlock Your Skin. This series is really dear to my heart because it's really a reflection of the kind of work and the kind of help that I want to offer for people with eczema. Starting this channel, I really wanted to become the person I wish I had in my life when I had eczema. I wish there was someone like me when I was in my darkest moments, from the age of 5 to, I think about 20. Those were very formative years to me. A lot of the experiences I went through having eczema as a child, teenager, and young adult really shaped who I am today. And it definitely would have been helpful to have had more resources, to have had someone who had gone through it and could offer me real advice with real results, or at least a real way to start approaching my specific form of eczema. Past is already over and you can only work with what you have. And I was still able to get through it, and I hope that the advice and the information that I share will help at least one person out there with their eczema. Because if even one person got something out of any of my videos, that would just mean the world to me and make all of the effort and planning and editing and scheduling and uploading of all this content that worth it to make someone else's experience with eczema that much easier. Just make all of the pain worth it to be able to be at a point where I feel like I can offer help and support to others with eczema. It is a great place to be, and I wish it for many more of you and the ones that you love. Having said that, different aspects of eczema that I'm going to touch upon in this 7-part series are inspection and analyzing the appearance of rashes, environment, and the effect of climate, temperature, and humidity, cosmetics, topical products, and the best ones to use for different types of rashes and different types of areas of the body, clothing, fabric, things that we wear, also considering those aspects for anything we put on top of our body, pillowcases, blankets, and things like that. The food that we eat, allergies that can exist, emotional and psychological aspects of eczema, and finally hereditary and genetic factors that may or may not affect its existence in your body. I'm not an expert, a doctor, or a scientist, but I am someone with almost 30 years of experience having eczema, so I'm at least an expert in my own experience of eczema, and I hope that the patterns that I've noticed in my life can help you discover the patterns in yours and inspire you to become more curious about eczema, how the skin works, and the deep connection that our mind, soul, and heart have on our physical body and its expression in the physical realm. It is all connected, it all helps, and so let's get into it. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how I assess my rashes. I'm going to just make up a system of rashes because this is something that we need in the world of eczema that does not currently exist as far as I know it. Or maybe there is and I just haven't come across that information. In that case, please share that with me in the comments or message me. I would love to learn more about it if there is already a system to categorize different types of rashes and levels of rashes. For the way I assess mine, there are 3 main levels. There's level 1, which I'm gonna say is rashes that are pinkish to reddish in color and that only affect the top epidermal layer. There's no bleeding or oozing. It's completely surface level rash. These rashes, they are clearly just on the top layer, so if I have a rash that looks like that, I know that it's not a super deep issue and that it is probably contact dermatitis, something that has been caused and irritated by something external that I have come into contact with. That external factor could be a fabric that I'm wearing. Wool and acrylic are really itchy for me. Another external factor could be the environment. Maybe there's a seasonal change and we are going from summer to fall or fall to winter when things get a lot drier and my skin gets a lot more flaky and more prone to cracking. Or I touched something that was dirty and didn't know it, or didn't know that was super dirty, and the foreign bacteria is irritating my skin barrier and causing this reaction. There could also be the bacteria that causes some sort of infection, like staph infection, can sometimes cause an eczema-like flare to occur for some people. So there's that level. Then there's the level 2 level, where I'm gonna say it's a rash that runs deeper, but not so deep that there's bleeding. There could be oozing and some crusting over if that ooze dries on top of your skin. And this is a level of rash that could be connected to a food allergy. If I see this, I know that there are toxins that need to bust out of my system. And as I've mentioned in a few other videos, it probably means that my liver didn't have a chance to break it down completely, and so didn't get to my colon to help me defecate, or to my kidneys to urinate it out, and therefore it is going through my skin as a last resort to eliminate itself from my body, as my body's last attempt to free me from this toxin or histamine reaction that I'm experiencing for whatever various reason. At this point, I know that I need to do something about my diet. I need to flush it out with water. I need to take herbs, usually something minty or something detoxing and cleansing is helpful, like dandelion or milk thistle, which directly help the liver to function better and to build stronger and new liver tissue. I know that I need to probably eliminate something from my diet, and that I need to think about what I've eaten recently in the past 3 days, more or less, that may have been different or may have possibly contained something that I am allergic to, that would cause me to have a rash, to have itchiness that led to oozing. And finally is what I call a level 3 rash, which is the rash that goes to the deepest level. There could be cracking, but no matter how it expresses itself, there will be bleeding. And sometimes the bleeding is not self-induced. Sometimes, in my experience, I've actually had blood come out of my pores or my body start to bleed out on its own if I had a lot of food that I was really allergic to. Especially dairy will definitely take me to a level where where even if I do harm reduction techniques and I'm super gentle and I don't break the skin, blood will still come out when I pinch or press down on it, because now the toxin has gone to the deepest level, in Chinese medicine at least, of toxicity, which is toxins in the blood. And that's where I need to do a super detox. I mean, I need to do whatever I'm going to do for an oozing rash times 10. I need to eat more vegetables, less meat, cut out dairy, cut out any allergens, fruit, more sleep, just everything I can do to return to balance, detox and cleanse is what I need to do to cleanse my blood, to detoxify my liver and my blood. That's how I read different types of rashes. There are some rashes that will show up on my hands that are more blistery and sometimes bleedy as well. And that will also be a dietarily related rash. So those are the main 3 types of rashes, and things to keep in mind as possible causes and sources depending on how they look and how deeply they run. I hope you found this video helpful as your first step to finding your system of recovery and reading your specific type of rash or rashes. Stay tuned for my next video, because I know that this is the kind of information that people with eczema are just like dying for. I wish I had this information growing up, and I don't want to make you wait a week in between each of these steps, because they work together so closely that I feel like this kind of information just needs to be out there so that we know how to take care of ourselves, because self-care is a human right, in my opinion. And I could probably charge for this information, but It doesn't feel ethical, and even though I came up with this stuff on my own, I haven't taken any other eczema coaching programs or read any other literature from anyone else who's doing a coaching program on this type of stuff. It's just like paying it forward, like why not? So stay tuned for my next video tomorrow, which is going to be on environmental factors related. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.